Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Quantum Leap Monday morning pre-market analysis and trade plan setup for July 21st, 2014. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. My name is Doug McKay. I am the head moderator and founder of Quantum Leap, coming up on our 5th anniversary next year. And we have a private Skype room. I don't have my welcome message up because I forgot to put it up, but if you're looking for contact information, my contact information on Skype is Doug_McKay. That's M-C-K-A-Y, and I'll be the one from Windsor, Ontario, Canada. Go ahead and look me up, or if you're looking for more definitive contact information, just pull up one of the other videos on YouTube, and the welcome page will be there with my contact information. Each morning we come together and do our analysis for the day. I look at the macro to the micro and prepare for trading. We go through a normal routine. We look at the trend macro to micro, the key numbers, and then we get into some more in-depth chart analysis, and then we set up our trade levels and our hypotheses for the day. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you might want to skip ahead, but we can't skip because there is no shortcuts in trading when you're preparing to go to battle. Before we do anything, I have to get legals done. So this information is for the purpose of educating members who want to expand their knowledge in the business of trading. It's not for trading or investment advice. You and only you are responsible for the trades or investment decisions you make. Trading futures or any instrument involves the risk of loss. Please consider carefully whether features or options are appropriate to the financial situation. Only risk capital should be used when trading futures or options. Investors could lose more of their initial investment. Nobody at Quantum Leap is a certified trading advisor. We are retail traders operating within a self-organized learning environment. Past performance is not indicative of future results, and any trades that you see in Quantum Leap are for education purposes only. Please trade your own plan and your own due diligence. So I'm broadcasting from my home office this morning, heading up to Toronto tonight, so we are going to be around this morning. So first thing I want to do is I want to go and take a look at Friday, because Friday I tried to get everybody long and stay long, but let's just take a look at where'd my chart go? There it is. Okay, there we go. So Friday we opened up inside of range, but outside of value. So we were looking at this key level down here at this 56.25 to hold, and if it hold, if we held, we were looking for that move up to 59, and we basically got that first move right on the open. And then we were watching the value area low, which was down here at 1960, and above that we wanted to get long and stay long. It was setting up to look like a rotational day as they battled the value area. But as soon as they got above this value area, the buyers took control, and we rallied right back up, and we took back pretty much all of the gains, or the losses that we took the prior day and in the Globex on that Ukraine news and on the news of Israel invading Gaza. But it was a beautiful trend day. We stayed long. I took I think 8 trades, the initial entry, and then 7 add-ons during the course of the day, and I'm still running long right now because I'm still expecting to go up and make new all-time highs now that we're holding above the key levels. So the market, once it broke to the upside and left the VWAP behind there, and the VPOC at the time was down here, and then we just stair-stepped the VPOC up during the course of the day, and then of course we got the VPOC shift into the close yesterday up at that key CHVN in around that 1971. So let's take a look at the key numbers and go through the numbers, and then we'll get into our more in-depth analysis. Of course, Mondays I always like to take a look at the commitment of trader report. You can see this is the zero line right here. You have the ES right here, and then you have the small specs, the commercial paper, and the large specs. And you see the large specs is coming up to the neutral line again, but the commercial paper is getting more net short. interesting thing is that the retailers are now starting to get a little bit net short. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I think this week is going to be a very definitive week overall for the year. I think that if we get the rally and we go up and make new highs, we're going to go up and test those 2000s. But if we fail at this point now and we get below some key levels, we could see a bigger retracement and probably an interim high put in at that 1978.50 area. So going over to the numbers. Obviously, the key number above us is that 1978.25. That is our all-time high and our month high and our year high. Our month low shifted on Thursday down to that 1942.50. That's we didn't do it in the RTH. We did it in the Globex. But we went down to that key level, and we'll look at this on the composite when we get there. And the buyer stepped in very strongly here at 1942.50, and we rallied back all day Friday. Looking at the intraday numbers going into Friday, we had the Globex high. The Globex open at 1949.25. We had the Globex high at 59, and of course the Globex low in that month low at 1942.50. We opened auction in range but outside of value at 1958.25, and then we have normal variation. We broke the ID to the upside. Now, like I said, the market, basically was giving us clues that we were going to get a rotational day, and we certainly had a rotational day for the first part of the day, morning, but when they took off, they took off. Intraday numbers, 12:30 number, 66.25. The RTH high was lower at 74.25, didn't quite take back the whole, Thursday down day, but we did get close. Our RTH low, 1957.25. Our RTH close, 71.25, and of course our VPOC shifted on the close up to that area, and that's right on that CHVN. Our 20-day ATRs starting to expand again. Our RTH is just under 12. Our full session just over 14.5, and our Globex just over 8. The value area high, 74.25. Value area low, 60.75 for a 13.5 point value. You can see that these 2 days right here, the down day and the up day, had very wide value areas. And we did do a make and break. There was only a 4-point IB on Friday, as they battled that area out. And once they broke above, they did a make and break at the IB high at 9:31 Central. And once they did that, the buyers, took control and rallied us the rest of the day up. Volume was rather a little bit heavy at 1.4 in the RTH, and basically just under 1.8 in the full session. Going over to the daily report, our pivot for the daily is 1962.67. We're above that right now. Our first resistance on the daily is up there at that measured move on the cup and handle at 1982.75. Our cup and handle target is 1982.25. Weekly pivot 85.33. I'm sorry, resistance one's 85.33. You can see that the support level on the dailies just below that 1952.75 at that CLVN, the 1951, and that's going to be a key level this week that we need to hold. Looking at our 20-day ATRs for the full session, our full session high so far, 71.50, full session low, 65.50, so our 20-day ATR targets are 1980, there's that 1980 area again, and then to the low side, 1956, 57 area. There's no scheduled news today, but remember we've got lots of news with Ukraine and with Jerusalem and Israel going into Gaza. So there is a lot of headline risk, just no scheduled news. So let's take a look at the trend macro to the micro. You can see that the trend on the monthly is extremely strong. Good slope and separation on the 9 EMA and the 20 SMA, and prices paralleling the 9 EMA quite nicely. Trend is very much intact on the monthly. Same thing on the weekly, even though we came down and tested the 9 EMA on the weekly, we rejected it and rotated back up, and we still have good slope and separation on the weekly. On the daily, we did have that Thursday down day and showing a little bit of weakness coming in on the daily, but what do? The next day they pop it back up, and we are trading above the 9 and the 12, 9 and the 20. We don't have as much separation or slope, so we are seeing a little bit of weakness, but the trend is still intact on the daily. Going and looking at the geometric chart, I had put this downward sloping fork in last week. It still looks valid right now. We've got an energy point right here at 1967 area due tomorrow, but currently right now we're just inside and holding inside the upper line of the downward sloping fork at 1969.50. Mark that level down on your chart, your journal I should say, and then we're holding above the lower line of the short-term upward sloping fork at 1964. And it's really 1964 and a quarter that I'm watching here. If we break that 1964 and a quarter, we could see a move down to test the center line down here. A move today to do that would take us down into the 1948, 1949 level. If we break above the upper line of the downward sloping fork, we missed this energy point right here at 86, but a test of the upper line of the intermediate upward sloping fork will take us up into that 85, 86 level and give us all-time new highs. So just not telling us a lot today, but got to be aware of the levels. All right, let's go take a look at the trends coming into the RTH session intraday, see if we've got any trends going on. Oh, so we had a big move down. Okay, we had the we took it all back. We had that tech gap, closed the tech gap, rallied all day on Friday. Then we get a tech gap, Mr. Sneaky, FUBAR, Mr. Sneaky, and what do? We rotate back down and close out that tech gap, Mr. Sneaky. Currently, there's no trend on the 4-hour. We are in consolidation and closing of the tech gap. Going down to the 30-minute, a little bit of a slight downtrend overnight coming into the RTH on the 30-minute. We're trading below the 9 and the 20, and we've got a little bit of slope, a little bit of separation. Not real strong trend, but certainly a possibility of a start to the downside. And then just going down one more level to the 5-minute. And we have no trend. We're just consolidating here. So really not a lot of information they're giving us going into this session. So let's jump right over to the big picture, take a look at the composite. You can see right now we're back up inside of the balance of the longer-term microcomposite that goes back to 0627. Our microcomposite VPOC is this 1967.50. We're trading 1967 and a quarter, so we're right back into balance. Key levels on the morning are going to be the 65 and a quarter. So that 64 and a quarter CLVN has shifted up now to 65 and a quarter. So watch that 65 and a quarter, and then to the upside, we've got the CLVN at 1970, which is just below that CHVN and the former microcomposite VPOC from the 3 days we tried to hold value up here. If we can get above this 1970, got a nice move, we'll be back into price discovery and going up to test the value area the VPOC from Friday, which was at 71.25, and then we had the value area high at 74.25, and then just above that, which is going to be a very key level above us, which is going to be that microcomposite VPOC, microcomposite value area high up here at 1975.50. Below 1956.25, look for a rotation down. You just got to be careful of this 1964.25, because that was the level for most of last week. But below that, we've got a target down here at the CHVN at 62.75. The value area in the big picture is all the way down here at the 1958 level, and that's going to be near the 20-day ATR down target of 1956.75, 1957. So if we get back into this this area below 65, we could get a rotation back to this 59, 58 area, because it's got the microcomposite VPOC here at 58. At 59 was a key level for us, trading a while back. And then just below that, you've got the 56.25. And it's the 56.25 that I really think is, going to determine in the next couple of days whether or not we get a move back down to this 42.75. We had this big down day right here, and the low on the Thursday RTH session was 49, but they actually pushed through all the way during the course of the Globex down to the 42.75, where they stepped in and found buyers before they rotated up in the Globex and then continued the trend in the RTH session. So let's go and grab our Globex numbers and start moving them over to our chart. Oh, we're getting a bit of a push down now. So we just made new Globex lows. We'll have to make a couple adjustments on our numbers. So the overnight high isn't going to change. That's up at 71.50, just above the VPOC from Friday. We just went down and put a new Globex low in. I'll put it in right now, but we'll have to watch it because it's likely to go lower. But we got to keep moving here. So we got 64.50. Just Howard, if we don't rally from here off the 64.25, and that is the low, our low gets lower, let me know. Currently, we've got a pretty decent distribution curve from the overnight with the VPOC here at 67.25, and again that 67.50 is a key level for us. And then did we go in? We did go in and make a new low. The new low is 63.50. Oh, they're going to change the game on me as I'm doing this. All right, so we'll have to keep an eye on this, but let's go take a look at what that looks like and how I trade. Now, we had a very toothy profile with multiple distribution zones. So we have some LVNs that I want to pay attention to, especially depending on how they fit within the bigger context. You've got the lower one right now we've got to pay attention to because it's right there at that CHVN 62.75. So I'm going to mark this 62. I'm going to use 62.25 as a trade level, because if we break the 62.25, we're likely to come down here and test the value area low from Friday at 60.75. And I'm going to mark that as a trade area as well, because I would get short into it with the break of 62.25 if I haven't found a trade already, but I want to be aware that we could find responsive buyers down here. So I want to get in, get funded, and then have a runner down here just in case we come down and break below value. Below the 60.75, the clear target below, and again it's really tight. In fact, what I would do is I would move this down like this, because you've got the 59 down here as well as 60. So 60, 75 likely won't hold strong because they'll probably push down because 59 has more price acceptance. So the buyers are likely to wait to step in there, and then we can see if we get responsive buyers. But if we break below that 59, we're likely to go down and test the open from Friday at 58 1/4, which would be the first target below. But more likely to come down and test this 57 1/4. And this 57 1/4 has the same scenario of the value area low, is they're likely to push through the 57 1/4 down into this 56 1/4. So the same thing with the value areas. I'm going to make it so my levels are right on both of those because it's really the slush area, between the 56 1/4 and the 57 1/4. Same thing with the 59 and the 60, 75. These levels are going to be very difficult to trade off of. So just be, my preference would be, the short side 62 1/4 into that, and then this will be tough to take a newer trade, so just be careful. But a break below 56, we've got really good targets below. We've got the naked close here, 1954, but the big one is going to be, again, this 52.75. And that would be the main target below value and below range. With just below it, we've got that 1951 area and that 1950 area. That 51 will be I'm going to use 51, but I'm just going to move it down just slightly. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, and then if we do break below 51, we've got targets at 47.75. You can see how these levels, now that we've spent so much time in this area, I mean, it's, these levels just keep playing out over and over and over again. I can call these numbers off in my head right now without even looking. And then just to the other side of that balance around 47.75 is the 44 1/4, and then below 44 1/4 you got the naked VPOC at 43 1/4, but it's really this 1942.75 naked microcomposite VPOC and the month low, which is where you want to be targeting into, 42.75. You got lots of nice targets right here. And then the lower side of that balance is going to be that 1938. And the 1938 will remain as the major line in the sand for me in terms of whether or not I think we're going to go down and test this 27 1/4 and more likely come down and test this 1914.50. So 38 is going to be a key level for us to hold. In fact, I'm going to just change the name of that, and this is going to be and apply. Have we made new lows? Have we gone below 63.50? Here for a second.
63.50 still below.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just above us, okay, we have this 56 1/4, and this 56 1/4 is also just below a key LVN from Friday at 65.50. So I'm going to use 65.50. And this basically comes and gives us a test of the midpoint and the ending VWAP from Friday. Above 65.75, we got a clear target. Our main target inside of value and inside of range is back up into balance around the 67.50. And of course, that is just above our overnight VPOC. And then if we get back inside of this balance, okay, the first resistance that I'd be looking for is going to be at that 1970. And that's also another LVN just above it at 70 and a quarter. If we can get above that, it's a no-brainer to go and take out the naked close at 71.50, which is right in the next balance zone above us, and where they tried to hold value after going up and making that week high. See, we've got a week high at 78 and a quarter, the all-time high, because we've gone up and missed it by 1 tick, and I don't think they're going to leave it for 1 tick. And so my main hypothesis still is intact, that we go up and make new highs before we get the turn. But once we're up in the 71.50, the value area high and the range high is right there at 74 and a quarter, and then above 74 and a quarter, we've got the first target that you want to get. If you're going to take the break out of 74 and a quarter, you've got to get funded before we get into the 75.50, because that's the value area high of the microcomposite. And then above that, of course, we've got the main target above range and above value, which is going to be that all-time high at 78. Is it 78.50 or 78 and a quarter? I think it's 78.50. We one ticked it in the Globex. Let me just verify that. Here's my homework sheet. I'm wrong. It's 78 and a quarter. I don't know why I have 78.50 in my mind. And then, of course, above that, our ATR target to the upside is 1980. And then we've got a measured move at 1982 and a quarter from the cup and handle that we have not invalidated yet. All right, so that's what I'm looking at in the ES. Going over to the Russell. Again, I'm just gonna, because I've already done the work, I don't need to pull the charts up. Well, you know what? Let's just pull the charts up. So I posted the chart last Sunday night, and talking about the triple, the we had 2 distribution zones and an accumulation zone, and the value areas within those zones. And we had fallen out and gotten into this lower level. We only got down to 1123.80. We didn't quite get to the 1120, which is the main target below. And then we found buyers, and we rotated back out of the value. And currently, right now, we've come back down, and this 1137.60 is going to be a very key number that we have to hold above today on the RTH Open. If we can stay above this 37.60, then I'm looking for a rotation back up to this 41.20 and 42.90 area, with a move to test the 5-day, the 2-day microcomposite VPOC and the CHVN at 47.50. That's the move I'm looking for on the open. We need to get above this 1150.40, okay, to get back into the value area of the distribution zone, so that we can get a continuation up towards 52.70, which was the 5-day microcomposite VPOC before we fell out of balance on Thursday. And then if we can get above the 54.60, I'm looking for that move to rotate back up into the main balance area up here inside of value and the overall microcomposite VPOC at 1168.30, and hopefully get a continuation and a test to the other side of that balance up at 76.30 and 77. But the 1180 is the key number above. That's the value area high from the microcomposite, and if we get above that value area, then we can back into some price discovery and get a move up towards that 1195. 1195.90 is our main target above value inside of this upper distribution. But if we can't hold 1137.60, then I'd be looking for a target. The 36.40, which is the value area high from the upper from the accumulation zone down here, but below that, inside of that, you've got 3340. Then you've got the key CLVN below that inside a value at 1126.70, and anything below 1126.70, I really think that we're not going to hold until we get back into this area and come back to this 1120, 1116.40. I mean, 1116.40 still remains to be the composite microcomposite VPOC. I'm sorry, composite VPOC. Let me just bring this to the front. You can see that this line right here, this composite goes back to October the 9th, 2013, and 1116.40 is the most accepted price. It was 1120 in the June contract, but it got adjusted down to 1116.40. So these two numbers to me are synonymous, the same. And then we've got this flat area below it, which I think we're going to get stuck in as we chop around in this value area and this undetermined value, basically between the 1092 level and the the 1120 level, 1126. I think we're going to get stuck down here. But that's what I'm looking at on the Russell. You can go ahead. I've got the description of the more definitive levels. Just go into the room and read through what I wrote. Let's take a quick look at gold. And I'm going to put a new profile in here. All right, so everything remains the same in gold. Okay, we talked about this 1305. It was shifting back and forth a few times. It was 1305, it was 1306, and even got to 1307. But 1305 is a very important level. You can trade off of this level. It's been good to me. Currently, we're back into balance. Now, this composite here goes all the way back to 2008. 10/24/2008, and the most accepted price overall in gold in all these years is the 1315.90 right now. So we're back right in balance. Now, the value area of the 5-day microcomposite is, the high is 1319, but just above it you've got that 1322.60. And I really don't think, what we could do too is, let's do this. Let's just draw a bigger microcomposite. I want to go from the breakout day all the way through here in this balance. So that shifts the value area up to 26 on the high and down to 1306, 1307. And I think we're just going to chop in this area, and basically the way I'd be trading this is I'd be trading off of 1305.40 and trading off of 1322.50. There really isn't anything, in this area that's going to give you much of an edge, because we're likely just to chop around here, and you might as well flip a coin on which direction it's going to be, because it's like dropping a ball at the top of a hill. You know it's going to go down one side, you just don't know what side it's going to go down right now. So trading in this level, in these levels right here, to me is very dangerous. And I'd be using 2250 for a breakout to the upside or rejection and rotation back down to 1350. I said that once we got up here, we weren't going to get away from it that quickly. And we tested both sides of trying to break out of this this balance, this price acceptance, and we failed, and we're coming into the week right back into the balance. So, but a break of 2250 would give you a fairly good shot at going and testing the 5-day microcomposite value area high here at 1326.90. So that would be a trade that I would take with hope for continuation through to test. And this 29.75 CLVN is really no longer valid, so I'm just going to take that off the chart. But then I'd be looking for continuation. There's really not much until we get up to this 1337.50. This is where they tried to hold value when they went out and tested that 46 which was our main resistance above. And then we fell back into balance, and we tested the other side of balance by going down. I think we we went down to that basically where the naked microcomposite VPOC was prior. We went right back down there. And remember, 1293, 1294 was where the composite VPOC was before shifting. It shifted up on, I think it was this day right here. It shifted up to the 1350.90, but prior it was all the way down here at this 93. What did they do? They tested the other side of that balance in the former composite VPOC and former microcomposite VPOC. Buyers stepped in and then rotated us back up. We didn't get the shift. I was waiting to see if we got the shift down, and because we didn't get the shift down, my hypothesis still remains long-term. We see higher prices in gold, but we could see some fluctuations with these indices as they, if they rally to make another blow-off top. So that's what I'm looking at, gang. That's going to complete our morning pre-market session and trade plan setup for Monday, July 21st. As always, trade well, trade safe, and we'll catch you on the flip side. I'm going to stick around for the open and see if we can find us a trade.